There you go.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
One of the recurring themes in the Harry Potter series is that the Muggles, that is the non-magical people, they are consistently blind to the reality of magic that's happening all around them. There's all these large-scale events of magic that happen in their midst in congested cities like London, and the Muggles, they can't seem to see it. It's almost a willful blindness. We see this clearly when we think about Vernon Dursley, Harry Potter's uncle who raises him. Now, Vernon is your prototypical Muggle. He is completely oblivious to what's happening, even though he knows all about magic. It's like he knows that the reality of magic exists, but he refuses to see it. Over and over again, magical events happen before him, but he tries to block them from his view. One of the things about the book of Revelation, which is our reading for this All Saints Sunday, is that it provides us a window into another reality. It's actually not another reality, it's this reality, but seen with different eyes. John looked and he saw this vision. It's telling us throughout the book of Revelation to look and see what's really happening. And one of the things that John sees in Revelation 7, today's reading, is a multitude of saints. Countless throngs of saints from every tribe, people, nation, and tongue. Saints all across the throne of God. And these saints are so countless, you can't even number them. There's so many saints. And John looks and he sees all of these saints. It would have been an encouragement to the churches at the time of Revelation that they were not alone. That they were a little minority, persecuted, small, meeting in houses, and yet they were a part of this family that was vast, that extended way beyond them into the future, into the past, and across the world. They were a part of these innumerable saints. This past summer, I went to Egypt and had an encounter with an Egyptian Coptic man, Coptic Christian. And this man's name was Maher. And he and I got to be really close friends. And Maher would take me around to visit all of these Coptic churches. And inside a Coptic church, you see all these icons of saints. Most of the saints I had no idea about. And there was one saint that Maher dearly loved, that I grew to love because of Maher's love for him, and that was Saint Nofar. And I don't know much about Saint Nofar other than he's always naked in all of the icons, except he has a beard down to his feet covering him. And Maher would tell me these stories about how Saint Nofar helped him. He would pray to Saint Nofar and things would get better for him. And one of the things Maher said to me that stuck with me was that when we have the saints, we never have to be alone. We are always a part of a community that's bigger than us. He said it to me, I still remember it. We never have to be alone when we have all of these saints. And so one of the things the book of Revelation invites us to see, if we look, is that we are not alone, that we are a part of a fellowship that is vast, that goes back into the past with strange men like Nofar, strange women who lived in the desert, who gave their lives for Christ. It is the saints that exist today and the saints that will come. Another thing that our reading from Revelation shows us is that the saints that have suffered, that it's not the final word, that evil doesn't get the last say. We see in our reading from today that saints who have gone through the great ordeal, martyrs, those who've suffered for their faith, people who've been persecuted. And these people who have been persecuted, what happens to them? They are washed in white robes. They stand before God in absolute praise. The Lamb is their shepherd. They have no tears. They don't hunger anymore. Evil, the suffering, the empire that was pushing them down does not get the final say. If you look closely, what do you see? You see God's gracious rule. God as the Lamb who leads his people food, into shelter, into good things. The suffering of this world is not ultimate. It does not have the final say. Finally, today is also a baptism. And a baptism, on the one hand, is the most ordinary thing ever. We have a little baby, we have baby Luke, and we have water, and we're about to wash baby Luke, which happens to Luke all of the time. I know his mother's told me that he makes quite a mess. And so we are going to see baby Luke get washed. It's completely an ordinary thing. The water we use, you could drink it, it's just water. And Luke, he's a great baby boy, and after he's baptized, he will still cry, he'll still poop in his pants, he'll still laugh at his dad. He'll be the same Luke. That doesn't change. But we're invited to look closely to see something else that's also going on. We're invited to see that the water of baptism is the water of creation. The Spirit hovered over the water. We're invited to see that this water of baptism is the Red Sea that the people of God had to pass through to enter the Promised Land. We're invited to see that this water is the Jordan River in which Jesus himself was baptized into. And even Luke, though he won't look any different, and though he'll still be Luke after he's baptized, we're invited to see him with new eyes. Luke will go through the waters of baptism, participate in the life, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus. Luke will be given the Spirit of God. Luke will be made a new creature, adopted child of God. He'll be marked as Christ's own forever. If we look closely, we can see that Luke also will take his place with the innumerable saints, the saints who are worshiping God right now before the throne. If we just look and see. And finally, this day, we are invited ourselves to join with those saints who are already part of them, to see that we too gather here before the throne of God in worship, in praise, that what we're doing is the most ordinary thing in the world, and yet it's also praise before God in God's presence with saints in the past, from today all over the world, and saints into the future. Thanks be to God. Amen.
Amen.